Så hallå igen, då är det part 2. Oh, I started speaking Swedish now. Part 2 of the aura. Yeah. So I mentioned a little bit in my previous video about my own experiences surrounding that. Sorry, I have to adjust the belt. It have been Christmas. Yeah, so what about that then? Yeah, I will continue where I was. I started to say that the energy or the aura, the energy field around the physical body that surrounds you in each direction, and it's three-dimensional, and for a healthy person that is egg-shaped, like a form around the body, then a shape around the body, and usually it stretches like 2.5 to 3 meters around the body. But there are those, even masters really could stretch that several miles even from the body. And that is supposedly also how they got so many disciples or followers on their journeys and so on. And a common thing is, or in a picture of masters, would be that you see these radiance or gloria on top of the head. And that is the part of the aura that is most easily seen by others. And even though the size and intensity cannot be proven on ancient masters, it's true though that the more healthy you are physically and spiritually, the more vibrant your energy is, and the further away from the body your aura stretches. And you can practice this in several ways, meditations and so. But it's also good to be able to adjust it according to certain situations, if you wish it to be more narrow or open. Because you pick up also much more the more you stretch it out, if you say. At least that's how I think about it. Yeah. And the more vibrant or vital your aura field is, the more energy you will have then to do whatever chores or assignments you have or have to do, you want to do or have to do. And also the stronger this aura is, the less you are influenced by others' energies or other energies. So, I mean, if you think about this expression of being spread very thin, if you feel that you are burned out, or you can also get burned out by being resistant to being open. That's common, I think, or resistant to certain things within yourself. But if you think of it as trying to stretch your energy far when you have little energy, that will weaken you. Obviously, if your energy is very, very strong, then you can do that without it influencing you in a bad way. And also, if you are very receptive to things, and you feel that it's overwhelming and you can't digest it, then to keep picking up even more can be very like go into overload sort of. So it depends then. Yeah. So if you have like holes or scars or weak aura fields, then things like outer influences have easier access to you. And here I just started thinking about sex again, but there are many sayings around this when it comes to energy and sex. In Kama Sutra or Tantra or so on, that is commonly known also about the energy of it, and connection to the chakras and everything. But also personally in my life, I've been living in at least celibacy when it comes to not having engaged with any men for, well, forever now it seems to be, but at least like 10 years, probably longer, must be longer. I don't know exactly even what year it was. How sad is that? But on the other hand, that really have healed my energy, because when you connect in such an intimate level with someone energetically, I'm speaking now, what happens energetically is that you your energies mix in a way that is very I shouldn't say like intrusive, but it's very, your energies will mix into each other's, and I think, or I've learned also, but I think it even just by myself, that it's more so influencing a woman. I mean, it also influences men, but you are like the receptive part in many ways as a woman. So if those connections aren't balanced or genuine, maybe you could say, I don't know what words to find here, but then that can really cause scratches in your aura or holes in your aura. And I'm not saying that to kind of seem prude or dismiss connections sexually. It's not that at all. It's just to be aware that it really influences your energy field. So in that sense, I'm really grateful both for the yoga, the Kundalini yoga and so on, that helped heal a lot for me when it comes to the aura, because I was very sensitive to electricity and all kinds of energies like that. And that really helped me. The energy yoga really helped me heal those things, and also stay away from having that intimate connections. Have been awesome. I hope it won't stay like that though forever. Yeah, but whenever, if that would be the case, that will be different though than before. So yeah, but to be really aware of how that influences your energy. We can't just deal with ourselves in two random ways and think that it won't influence us. It does. So yeah. So if your aura field, however, it have been weakened, but if it's weaker, then others can easier intrude on your aura and influence you in various ways. And so that you can get more easily manipulated, or even just that you get easier tired. it can also, there are so many things that are connected, but you can also feel like a failure or get health issues or feel that you are inefficient in many ways or in many situations in life when your aura is weak. So yeah, so not to control your environment in like being a puppet master, but in controlling how you deal with your surroundings. To do that, you need to learn how to control your energies. And I will try to show you certain things and remind myself, not the least. That would be awesome. So there are various methods, and I will probably do several videos on this and repeat, and also maybe I remember something that I've forgotten to say and so on. So I will keep talking about this for a while, I think. It's very important. So there are various methods out there to strengthen and making your aura feel larger. And as I said, sometimes if you are, for example, in a threatening situation of sorts, or like in an environment where you don't want to be seen as much, noticed much, you just want to pass by there or whatever, it's good to like keep your aura very close to your body. And the opposite, when you are in safe environments or where you want to connect, and then you can stretch it further, so you can adjust it according to the situation as well. But the aura, or if you call it the luminous energy field, or whatever you call it, and that have like two sides, you can call it, and that include energies from more subtle bodies, for example, that are sometimes seen in different ways, what those are, in what order related to the body, which one is closest, and so on. But it's like it's described metaphysically then. And these more subtle bodies are like energy fields, you can say, of energy, that have various strength that surrounds and also goes through the body. So the energy fields, if you have seen images of the aura, for example, maybe it's painted as several layers outside of each other, like those Russian dolls kind of things. But each of these layers also includes those inside of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so the outer ones, the one that is furthest away from the body, so to speak, but still envelops it and goes into it as well, and into all the other bodies, subtle bodies, like the mental and emotional and astral and ethereal and so on. It is if you work from that layer, that field of energy that still envelops and surrounds, let's say, all other bodies, then you can heal all those layers from that not perspective, but from that level, you can say. I don't think I describe this very well, but yeah. So anyways, the function of these various, that can also be described as dimensions, I think you can say. And the purpose is to help you coordinate and regulate the activity of the soul in this physical life. And that's like their main purpose. Yeah. So, yeah. I have to move my legs a little bit. And as I used to do not plannings, now I also have those cold feet. I have to put something on the floor here, so I don't freeze my feet off. Sorry, I have to bump into stuff a little bit here. So, yeah, so, yeah, you can't, I won't read the comments, so you can't ask me questions, which is a problem for me now, since I don't think I explained this very clearly. You can, though. When I do mediumship readings and so on, sometimes I ask them to write down their questions for themselves, because the spirits still know the questions. So, and then they have gotten, at least those who have told me that I have mentioned that to, that they can do that way, then they've told me that the spirits answered exactly all of these questions when I get back to them about the information I picked up. So I guess that same thing can happen here, whether you write it for yourself just, or if you write comments or so, even if I don't read them, I may pick it up. I don't do these videos as psychic videos in any kind of way, but who knows, maybe I pick up subconsciously anyway, so but I hope this will be helpful in some way, however I describe it, that you can find more information, or so on. So also science nowadays can obviously confirm that everything all life have an energy field, and that man or human have. That our body in itself is built by these energy fields. So, and that radiance that comes from the body, as you think of it, includes then sounds, warmth, light, electrical and magnetical and electromagnetical fields. And some of these energy fields that are kind of created, you could say, in the body, the way we see it, some comes from within and some are received from the outside then, and then transformed in the body. So still, these are the two that I wanted to say. But there is a constant exchange between them, and that develops naturally. It's like everything else, really, so it's not that different. But when we breathe in oxygen and out carbon. What is it called now? Carbon dioxide. I don't even know the English word for that. But or when we eat and digest something and we become everything is like this, and it's even more. The exchange is even quicker when it comes to energy. We can absorb it so quickly. So we absorb the energy of plants, trees, flowers, animals, and even the energies of the earth, more obviously the sun, and so on. So when you work with energy, like as a shaman, for example, you work with energies of nature very much, and stones, for example, not even only crystals then, but even regular stones, and so on. It is really a powerful and meaningful part to as a way to raise your own energy and also your own consciousness. And when it comes to totems as well, which is, these things are quite hard to talk about in a way, because in one way everything is oneness then, but if we think of it as separated, and so then then we can receive energies from the outside, so to speak, or exchange energy, as well as and also receive energy and transform that energy to something we can use. And when I talked about the Gloria, also about around the head that some people see, or above, which would then be the openness to the seventh chakra, or the universal consciousness. So therefore also that is seen as a sign of enlightenment, if you have that. Or if you see that around somewhere. And also, when it comes to seeing the aura, that's really mainly the thing that is interesting. I don't know if I even describe the other things well. Maybe I will come back to it. But, there is no exact division between where we are and when we... you can say that if you feel the energy field of the aura, you can feel the kind of boundaries of where it starts, but that's that's not a solid. It can be more or less or open or weak even, and so, but we always exchange energy, and we are always connected and part of everything else. So to say where I start or where I stop, or you begin, or so on, that's really impossible, actually. But to some degree, we can work within these concepts. These topics. Just to talk about them is weird, because it's so natural and so easy and simple in a way, as well as very, very difficult to put into words. Some are better than me at doing that, obviously, though. But I will try, because I enjoy. This is the passion of my life, aside from maybe a guy. Okay. So when it comes to seeing the aura and interpreting the aura, which is what most people... I assume if you look for a video about that, you don't really want to know the technical ideas about whatever. That would be the interest in it, would be how to do that, maybe yourself. Or maybe you just want to hear what others have experienced, I don't know. But I can say this, that they are weakened, or the aura itself and the ability to see, because that's part of your energy to be able to see. But it gets weakened by eating less good. So it's weird that I have been able to see any aura. And lack of exercise. Very, very weird that I have seen it. A lack of fresh air, oh gosh. And rest. And I think that is one of the things that I have added though. I have been resting. I have always enjoyed to be by myself. I've always been a little bit of a philosopher, but maybe not philosopher because they think a lot. I have more been like this, more of a shaman type. I've loved to, even as a small kid, I love to like, especially be out in nature and just absorb the energy of nature and be in it and communicate with it. And that is like one of the strengths that I always have within. Just maybe it was this morning even when I woke up and then I fell asleep again. And when I was about to try even to fall asleep again, because I was up late to comfort my cat around these fireworks at New Year's, and she was really calm though tonight, different from all other years. That was awesome. But I wanted to check her a little bit. So then this morning I was quite tired, so when I woke up a little bit and wanted to fall asleep again, I just saw myself out in a dark forest with those high trees, like, not pine, what are they called? I don't know the English word for trees, but I have a subscription to certain trees, and this is one of those. They're called like, I don't remember. Anyways, I grew up with one of those large trees, and on our property there was this huge tree. Anyway, and I've always felt that, and I realized also then in that kind of vision where I've kind of entered into before I fell asleep again, it's so comforting and so peaceful, and I love that I've had so many of these experiences. That nature is to me safety, and it's strength and peace and being loved and embraced. And I know to some people that would feel like a scary place, or like, I mean, I don't think maybe many would seek that as a comforting vision. But to me that is just, home. That is where I grew up. And it's so relaxing and healing. So I've had that. And also being out a lot as a kid, I had a lot of fresh air as well. And also we lived in this old house where the wind was blowing in everywhere. So yeah, probably. So no, it didn't exactly, but yeah, I guess it was quite open spaces there as well. It was a lovely house, filled with soul. Beautiful. And another thing is like stress anyways, and alcohol and drugs and tobacco as well. And those I don't use. Although, I mean, when it comes to incense and so on, and even when it comes to alcohol, I would love to use it sometimes in relation to spirits, which is the word for spirits, alcohol, But also, and I can also see how it has some those transcendental kind of drugs. They can really be useful when used in a responsible manner with very much knowledge and understanding. I think it can be very dangerous as well, though, because our psyches have, anyways, I won't go in there, but when it comes to tobacco, for one, I think that can be very much used in communication with spirits, and a purifying and healing herb as well. So anyways, but generally also when it comes to interpreting anything else, like when we use cards and so on, I recommend not to use alcohol or stuff related to that, because that the fact that you open up, and then you will want to be clear and not like muddy or foggy brained in any kind of way to receive it well. But I don't try to say what others can do, but I recommend that. So also because you can connect with the spirit world in a closer way when you work with cards and so on. And then if your vibration is lower, then, which it is if you go into, for example, drinking much or so, then the spirits you will connect with is on that same level, and that can be a little bit discomforting. Yeah, and so also negative habits overall, whatever that is, compulsions or so on. Yeah. And also when it comes to spiritual activities that are not beneficial, and that's like very vague, because what is that then? But sometimes we know that we are into, or maybe intrigued by or drawn to things that are, I love the occult, meaning the secret. I love to explore, and I'm very, very curious. And I people call themselves seekers, for example, those who do the same things that I have always done. But I've never really seen myself as a seeker. I've rather seen myself as a finder, because I've always found so much. And then that have expanded, or I've seen even more. So I may have widened the paths that I thought was more narrow, or my perspectives, that is, and so on. But my intent, whatever I have done, have always been good. I wanted well. And there have been a lot of conflicts since I have been touching on to first, the first thing that I came in contact with was Christianity. And that I've had a close contact with, and still have in a way. But I may have transcended into calling it maybe more Gnosticism. And then after that, I guess I was in touch with quite some New Ageist things as well for a while there. And then Wicca, which also I was drawn to mainly because of the connection to the earth and to these native nature religions that I also stem from. On my father's side, the natives of Sweden. And so I wanted to reconnect with that, and the knowledge I don't know where to find. I've checked a little bit in previously in the library and heard small dots about practices that were before and so on. But I mean, it had been very fragmented and not easy to pick up. So that it was what I wanted to connect with. And I feel that I have done so much through that. But it was called then witchcraft, which then of course did shake some fears in others, and like connected it to being something that you would not mean well using. And I do think there are those who really either don't care or have even not so good intent, as in every area of life. But I do think that if you practice these things and don't have good intent, that would be very, very costly. So I'm glad that my purpose have been love, and I have been searching or looking for or exploring the same things, searching for truth, I guess you can say, and understanding and so on. all the time. And that is also why I have not been able to limit myself to a certain frame that others are comfortable with, because, well, I have felt that when it's not alive anymore, or when I see that something else seem more true or add to the truth, then that's where I go. And so also, and whatever I also personally have needed. So, but it did clash a whole lot. People were quite upset and stressed about me practicing witchcraft, which still is the case, I think, actually. And I do practice it still. I practice all my paths at the same time. It's the same path to me. Anyway, so, and also Buddhism, Zen especially, and Tibetan Buddhism touched on to somewhat. Because it is so close to the magical workings and the native practices. So I could feel at home with that quite well. And a lot of other things, I won't go into them, but so anyways, and that was sort of a conflict as well. That stillness and that path is quite different, but to me still it is just a different way of discovering the same thing in a way. It is about reality and about consciousness and energy. What is this whole thing, Yeah. But so I think what is wrong spiritually would be, first of all, if you feel that it's wrong. I mean, if you push yourself into something that you don't feel good about, probably that is not awesome for you at that time anyways. And also if your intent in exploring a certain path is not a good one, that will of course influence the outcome and how it influences you and affects you. So yeah, so weaker or aside from being maybe fragmented or not as smoothly shaped, if you say, it can still have holes and so on as well. It is also usually weaker. I think I've mentioned this before, at least this person I did this with knows. There was one time that it scared me, and this, I was also way younger than, when I felt, I mean, as I said, I could do this chakra balancing and aura cleansing thing. And it was this guy, he used quite some heroin and was... Yeah, I thought he was in better shape though than he was. I'm surprised he's still alive. And I was doing some aura cleansing then, and it was so scary that I couldn't almost feel his aura, and I had never done that before. So it was almost like feeling a person sitting there, but this person is almost dead, although alive, still. That was quite a scary experience. Usually you feel it stretched out quite far and you can feel different layers and all that. But here you had to really concentrate to even be able to feel the ethereal layer. Almost that was gone, Very, very scary experience. So that was very weak. His life energy was very weak. Yeah. So, and if you then have a totem that you connect with, for example, or other energies that you can exchange energy with, so on. As within Munaki, for example, you connect to the mountains that is closest to where you grew up, those spirits surrounding the area where you not grew up, where you were actually born, that is. Those nature spirits around there is very protective of you and will always be wherever you go in the world. And also the closest water or river or what it is to where you were born. You have, if you connect with those forces, especially maybe the mountain, but yeah, both, that is really, really powerful. And that is something you work with in Munaki, for example, in shaman workings. But also totems, then, as I said, if you tune into your totem animal or animals, then there are various other totems also, but if you think about animals, for example, for now, the more connected you are to that, the stronger you as a person also become. And I have a super strong connection to one of my totems. I have a lot of connections to totems, and also I work always with when you work in a holy circle or like sacred space in Munaki, and as I always work now, I invite those traditional totems in the the cardinal directions as well. So I always work with other totems than my personal totems as well. But they have sort of become my personals as well since I work with them so much. But and sometimes I work with some other of my totems as well in a more intense manner. But there is one of them that I have always very close, and it is part of my being. It's just since it showed up, and that was also sometimes there when I was 20 something, and extremely clear when I saw it, and since then it had been part of my life. Actually, once I sent it away, I saw this very sick girl in Siberia. I mean, this is something I saw in a vision. I've seen that several times where kids have been in troubles in the world in various places. Lastly, Bangladesh, I think. It's disturbing. I want to, all the time when I see visions like that, I want to go there and just save everyone. But this was in Siberia, and there was this girl who kind of almost wanted me to adopt her or pick her up or help her, and I didn't know what to do. This was maybe, how long ago can it be? I don't know, more than 10 years ago anyways, maybe 15, I don't know, something. And let's say 13 years ago or something. Anyways, then since I didn't know what to do, but I knew my totem so very well, so I asked this totem to go there and help her, to leave me and go there. And this was really a bad choice. So it took maybe a couple of years before my totem came back, and hopefully that girl, whomever that, maybe she was helped then. But I would never do that again. I don't think that is the way to go. I hope she got help though. But that was a really bad choice. I would have needed to have it around instead probably. But I'm still here, so yeah. Since I didn't know what to do, and I saw her so clearly, I chose to do that. Yeah. I don't recommend that at all. And I would not ever separate from it again. Maybe like in smaller, I mean, you can send your own energy also, like your Inca seed, as you say in Munaki. You can send your own consciousness both to pick up energy and to pick up information and strength and so on. But you can also give energy and strength and so on. And I knew healing already then and so on, but I felt that something extra was needed to save this girl. So anyways, yeah. I would prefer to keep my totems close though. I think that would be more helpful for most people. Yeah, and myself not least. So, and also, if you are connected to the earth and to the elements, these fire, earth, water, and air, when you connect with that, you also strengthen the aura very, very much. So to work in sacred space and strengthen your connection to these elements will also strengthen your aura. Especially then if you are outdoors connecting with them. But even in your mind or consciousness. So to be barefoot on the grass or and so on in summer will really give your aura energy and healing. Because we can very easily absorb and transform the energies of nature with our bodies. And the ocean is really, really powerful. If you need healing, to be close to the ocean or on the ocean, if possible. Because we basically also come from there, but also that it includes that if it's sunny, but even if it's not, fire from the sun, the air, the ocean there, and then the water in the ocean itself, and then the earth surrounding. And in some symbolic meaning of the ocean is sort of our birthplace, but also very much connected to how we see love, emotions and love, and it's so vast also. It can really it have the capacity to heal even rough things. Although we are almost poisoning it, it's still, I mean, it's so unexplored. Have you seen some of these those parts of the ocean where they thought there was no life, where it's all dark, far beneath the surface? They thought there were no life. It's more life there than it is combined all over in the ocean. Fascinating lives. I mean, there is so much we don't know about. But we can really absorb a lot of healing from the ocean. And when I have been, I really love the ocean. I'm almost like crazy in the ocean, and almost always long to go to the ocean. I don't really need to be like in the, I love to bathe, but I don't need to be on a boat in the ocean. I don't know if I like that especially, but to be close and maybe with my feet in the ocean at least. But also aside the ocean, when I was in Varberg I was at a couple of years on an anorexia center, and I was walking there, and a lot of things were healing, and the waves and it's just by the ocean, so. And the scents also from the ocean and everything. I just felt it was so healing to be there just in that environment. It just took all that crap, that shit away that I've been before. Yeah. And also if it is the ocean with salt water, there's salt in itself. Also it's part of earth element, so in it, yeah, anyway. So, So you can, nature itself can help you absorb and transform those elements of nature into healing and strength in your energy system. And especially if you then have a combination of all these 4 elements, that is also represented in those 4 suits of tarot, Yeah. So, yeah. And also the connection to the sky. So this, the sun is one, but also the heavenly bodies or the dimensions above, let's say, also influence our energy field. The stars, that's also absorbed and transformed to expressions of energy in us. And also planetary influences. And some of us are more aware of how affected we are of that than others. The moon, for example, some people recognize that. So it varies from person to person how influenced we are of certain things, but everything is interconnected, and we are connected to everything, and it influences us, and we can also get strength from all of it. So, yeah, you can also obviously train the sensitivity to these energies and connection to them, and to also be more creative in working with them. Yeah. So that's really what you do in witchcraft, by the way. And you direct the energy also towards your goals, but otherwise it's kind of that what you're doing. Erase the energy. Yeah, and then you also start to understand how your aura affect others' energies or auras easier the more you work with energy. So to learn to know the limits or the boundaries of strength in your own aura field is very good. So that you're aware of when you need to strengthen or balance or cleanse them. You need to tap into that sensitivity to know when you need to be aware of when you lose energy in your aura field. So to be in wellness, to feel really, really good, you all over, like physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, then you need to be as aware of these subtle energies as you are of your body, or the energy in the body itself. And as I said before, I have been rather unaware of the physical energies. I ignored them so much. So I was way more aware of the other energies. I could totally ignore pain. I could totally ignore if I got too hot or too cold or so on. I don't even know if I always recognized it even. But if I did, I just decided to not care about it and just ignored it. But that was some time ago now, so now I do that. As I did now, I would never have done before, like put something under my feet so that I won't be cold, or I would just have thought, okay, maybe I would just have pushed it away before I was aware even, or maybe I would have thought, okay, I'm cold, well, and then just wouldn't have adjusted it or cared about it. So yeah, and there are certain, as I said, there are ways to view those subtle energies then. I don't think I should go into what they are there are several ways, different ways of seeing what they would be that we can connect to. Those astral and mental, Buddhic, atmic, monad, divine, or whatever layers. But since they are viewed in different ways, it's a reflection of our spirit, you can say. I don't think there is no point in me naming them in an exact order or however, because if you want to figure this out or learn more about that, then you will, and you find a system or a way of seeing it that probably will make sense to you, and that's the most important thing. So but what the thing is, our true nature or our source or our divine being or whatever, it's like the vibrations from the divine, if I now call it that, kind of lowers in intensity or in stages, so that it can connect with the physical body, also in the baby, when the soul enters the baby, so, and that is necessary, for otherwise it could not be combined. So, but these subtle bodies still surrounds us, even though we are not aware of them when we come into this physical, or we get less and less aware of them, rather, when we get more into the material. From the beginning we are quite aware of them, I think. But so when we get into this material physical world, we more and more forget the connection to the wholeness and the all, the oneness, and then we need to go in the other direction and like see beyond the veil of this three-dimensional world and grow back into the consciousness we truly are and always was, but forgot, so to speak. Yeah, is one way of describing it. But still, we have these connections all the time. It's just that we aren't always aware that that's there. Anyways, yeah. You can also measure, and there are those Kirlian photographs, or what they are when they take pictures of the aura or the energy field around the body. The interpretation of what that is, I guess, varies, but anyways, I wonder for how long I've talked now. I think I need to take a break soon again. I want to talk about more things, but I wonder when. Yeah. Anyways, maybe now. I talk for so long. But anyway, now we'll talk a little bit more. Every aura have its own what is the word for that now? Not properties, what is the word I'm seeking? Let's say abilities then. It is in its own way, you can say. And the more you get aware of your own aura and sense it, the more you also get to know these abilities, let's call it that then, of the aura. Yeah. And it also have this unique frequency that is just your aura. I mean, it changes, it develops, but yeah, it's unique still. It's uniquely yours. And there are no two that are the same. There may be things that are alike, but there are no ones that are exactly the same as with souls. And yeah, so as I said, it can differ in many ways. Also the strength and intensity of it, but also the sounds or light or so on within it. And when your frequency, the frequency of your aura, is in close relation to others' frequencies, then there is this natural reaction. You will easily get along with these people. And sometimes that is interpreted as connections from previous lives, and maybe so. But also you have a similar aura pattern, that your frequency when it comes to physical, emotional, mental or spiritual levels are similar, whether or not you have connections in previous lives. So you feel that you recognize each other in each other. So and then there are those individuals like this girl that I mentioned before in my previous video, I think, that are whose frequencies differ from yours, like very much. And it's not that I dislike her, it's just that they're very, very mixed frequencies, and she probably experienced me in the same way, I would assume, in some way that is odd anyways. But that can result in that you immediately feel that you dislike someone, or that it's not comfortable, or worries or so on. Yeah, so oftentimes this first impression of someone or first connection with someone is that shows how your aura harmonizes with that person's aura. And that doesn't mean that there is something wrong with that person or with you. It could just be that your auras just don't match. Your energies don't match. Yeah, at that time anyways. So if you meet for a longer period, maybe that leads to a harmonizing of the energies. Or maybe, as in this case with this girl, I think opposite. But still, yeah. I'm going back to her now. I always do that when I speak here. But I wonder about that, because there is something hostile is the word I was seeking for before. Not maybe some, like an enemy, but this hostility. When someone have that and try to portray themselves as if they don't have it there, it's so obvious, and they still don't want to say it up front, whatever it is, whatever the problem is. And then you can't do much, and then just let them have their own energy and go be their way and go their way, Yeah, it's nothing to stay around anyways. It wouldn't be loving towards yourself to be around that. Yeah. And so this saying about opposites attract, for example, maybe if you then immediately feel no, and then when you meet up more, you recognize that you actually complement each other and so on with your differences. So that can be the case as well. But also that you can, with practice, learn to adjust and change the frequency of your aura. And this is so fun. You don't even know if you haven't worked with this. And if you have, you probably don't listen to my long video. But if you have, and maybe you just connect so very, very well with me then. Yeah. But if you learn to adjust your frequency, and not like in a codependent way to make others feel good, but just to harmonize things and to make yourself feel good also, because it's smoother, then yeah, harmony can sometimes be really awesome. I have never done this though. I clash, or my energy clash with others. That have been the case since I was born. So and my intent is very good, but my energy is different And it is also very, I seek for the real, and sometimes that is really not what other people wish for. So, and then I really don't care if it clash. I want that still, so I go for that. But it is not harmonizing almost always. I mean, it's not that other people feel really comfortable around it, then that's okay. Yeah, so you can adjust your, and I think actors and so on use this very much actually. They don't just portray personality, but they go into the energy field. They really seek for that vibration of energy in themselves. Those are really great actors, for example. Yeah, they adjust their energy so that it goes along with that frequency. And sometimes, this is a way to also protect yourself naturally. I mean, some people don't think about this as something you do with your aura or whatever. They just do it in their behaviors or so on, and they don't think about it more. But it's a good skill to be able to shift between different energy fields and to control it and choose. And as I mentioned many times, I should really use this more of these techniques, but also seeing it would help. Yeah. Yeah. So, because sometimes it's just too costly to just provoke others without intent, you know. So, anyways, your aura affects and is also, you influence others and they you, or your energy. And if you can't be influenced, you cannot influence. That's also the case. Some people are very, very stubborn in getting their energy out. But unless they have some receptiveness to or openness, they don't have to agree with anyone else's, if you say perspective or opinions or what it would be maybe. But if there is no openness to trying to understand, then they create this wall that make it impossible for their influence to come through to others, because there is no flow of the energy, even if they are right, I mean, so to speak, or if it's true, it just becomes a block. Anyways, so we constantly send energy and take in energy or absorb energy. Every time you are in contact with another person or animal or whatever, there is an exchange of energy. And if there are many people who affect each other, then it's even greater energy exchange. And that is one reason why I feel I need to, if I should still teach certain things like tarot or so on, I should probably do it with more people at the same time, because of that exchange. I won't get stuck in between a few. So that would be much more beneficial, I think, for everyone. Yeah, and if you aren't aware of this exchange of energy, you can also store a lot of trash, or ama, as we would say in Ayurveda, like trashy energy, also at the end of the day, when you've met a lot of people or been in contact with others. And you may feel totally drained and may have a lot of strange ideas or thoughts and emotions that just run around in your head or in your body as well. Or when we think we're going crazy even. And this may be that you pick up so much of the energies around. It can be through, you don't have to meet people. You you get influenced by their energy. It can be online as well. And so, yeah. Yeah, so it's very important to know if you feel drained around a person just by being around them. And as I said, it doesn't mean, some people call it like energy vampires, and actually those who are energy vampires, so to speak, they are generally awesome healers, actually. But it's about finding that balance in yourself and to know where you need to be at that time and so on. But you can, even when you speak to them or on the phone or if you meet them and so on, feel exhausted immediately. And it may be that they need so much, but it doesn't mean that they are mean or that they have bad intent. It's just that they need to absorb so much energy, and you have not learned how to not let go of energy if you don't want to, or to fill it up from other sources or whatever it is. So, and that can be really, really strong. I've experienced that sometimes in extreme ways. And even with people that I absolutely like. And yeah, so if you feel like that, you really truly need to learn more about the energy. And Kundalini Yoga is perfect for you, if you would even check it out. Even the simplest practices, there are certain kriyas that are for strengthening the aura, and even just one of those for like 3 minutes or so would be so beneficial. Anyways, it's very unhealthy to be around that. If you feel that people drain you a lot, it's not their fault and it's nothing wrong with them. It's just that it's not for you until you learn better how to deal with your own energy, so that you don't feel like your energy is like sucked out of your aura. Avoid those interactions or those sites, if it's online or whatever it is. You need to have your energy to be able to influence in good ways. And also there are those who actually magically work like that. It's idiotic, honestly, since you can absorb energy from the earth and the whole universe. You don't really need to vampirically drain other people of energy, but there are those who do, and do it purposely in a magical practice also. So it can be intentional, but usually it's not, I think. But yeah, so anyways, whatever the case is, you should probably stay away. So yeah, I will give you examples how to balance your aura and keep it vibrant and protect you from certain influences then in my next video. But also plants and minerals and so on influences, it all have vibrations, so, and can be totems as well. Yeah. But to be out in nature is very balancing and cleansing for your aura. And even to turn off all those like even both phones and the computers and even TV, all kinds of stuff like that. That's really good to have pauses from. But also even better if you can be out in nature then. And to hug trees, awesome. It's really, really awesome for your aura. They are very giving, and they have such a dynamic energy field. And they influence a person's energy field really powerful. And this is not still there, the tree that I always saw this awesome aura around. It was like leaning, and now it's cut down though, but the trunk of it, where it looked like a heart shape actually. I just always looked at that tree and the vibrant aura, and it looked like it was going to die, and it was leaning. It looked like the such an ugly, crappy tree, but the aura around it was so brilliant and so vast and beautiful. And it says something about people as well, but so sometimes it's just not what you see physically, but also how much energy that tree had to share, although it looked not much, So, yeah, every tree have their unique frequency that no other tree have, as well as humans do. So you can hug different trees then to get different effects in your aura. And there are also known things about that, which kind of trees heal certain maladies and so on. But yeah, pine is very cleansing for headaches and so on, for example, and it absorbs and pulls away negative emotions, especially guilt, if you have that in your aura field. And as well as with Mother Earth, and the same is with trees and the pine, for example, it does not get harmed by those energies. It absorbs it and transforms it. So there is nothing negative. It just heals all over and gives energy. And crystals and stones have the same. That's the reason why you work with those as well, because they're electromagnetic properties. So, and they are easily absorbed in the human energy field, the energies from crystals and stones. Yeah. And if you exchange energy with someone, I mean, when I connect with spirits, I feel more closely than with the persons as humans that I meet, actually, because those in spirit world, they really come into my aura and communicate. And our aura feels, our energies mix, so I feel myself and also them, It's difficult to explain now. I will explain some other time about that, but yeah, or maybe it's easy for you to understand what I wanted to say about that. What more? Shall I say even something more here now? I think I will say a few things and then I will end. Okay, are you with me still? Yeah. You can also test your aura field or ask someone else to do it if you have been sitting with a tree or a special crystal or something, and then ask someone to feel your energy. If you can't see it, you can see it in a mirror as well if you wish to. But if you can't, then you can ask someone who can feel the energy. And everyone can if you just try it and go from the outside and slowly in. But you also need to learn a certain practices around this. You shouldn't go around randomly do these things, because you can absorb energy by doing that from others that may contain things that aren't healthy for you to absorb. So and also the auras from animals influence you, and how healing they are. They have such a strong connection to Mother Earth and the natural world, so they get you into good vibe. And my cat, she's like magical cats. I love cats. They're magical overall. They really, really feel and see stuff like this. But my cat really feels if there is a certain area of my body, even though she never used to lay there, she goes there and lay there where I need healing, kind of. And she's so surprising. Yeah. I know instantly on her if I'm not in balance. I just need to check her and I see that she's not. And I know that I need to balance something, yeah. Yeah. Animals are awesome. They are so wise. Yeah, undescribable. And they can balance all of your whole systems. And this also the imprints, if you have a longer and more intimate connection, that there is even a stronger exchange of energy, you know. And therefore also this authenticity is very important. If it's not there, then it will be a vaguer imprint still. Then if it's if it's authentic from both sides, then, or the authentic imprint will be the strong one, and it will linger. You can remember since you were a kid, someone, like how they, I don't know, hugged you or something they said that was loving, or, you know, or someone you met for not long time that still you always carry them, or what they did or said with you because of that, because of the imprint of their aura, really, their energy. Yeah. But if it's longer, than if it's an intimate mean like authentic to me. So that's like what I meant with that also. Yeah, and then it can stay as an imprint in you. It becomes part of you, kind of, as you supposedly also become part of them in a way. And it can be from a person then, but it can also be a part of your environment of sorts, or even an object. So, yeah. And this electromagnetic aspect then of your aura make you influences you to be drawn to certain places and things as well. If you're used to sitting on the same chair, for example, then traces of your energy is around that chair, and so it becomes like your. Many older people, or some, have that, and if you sit on their chair, they become like, what? And that's a good thing in a way. But yeah, or if you have your own room, you know, it's a certain feeling that is not the same as in others' rooms then. Yeah, your aura is kind of you kind of load your surrounding with a pattern of energy that is harmonizing with your own. I know a girl, at least when she was younger, I didn't know then that this was the aura that was the thing. But when she had some, whatever she had, an item, a hair thing in her hair, or if she had a certain clothes, or she had a specific, I don't know, record or smoking, so I don't know, it didn't really care. I mean, it was not what it was around her, but anything she used or picked up or carried or whatever, it became like, I never said this to her, maybe I should. It became like beautified, or how can I say it? She had such a strong, awesome aura, so she could, like, anything she touched, or maybe not just touched, but almost everything that was like in her aura field became much more than it was before. It was her. If she would have a like a, what is that called now, if you have a like handbag, or no, I don't know, something, or anything, you know, or certain nail polish or anything. It was, or chewing a certain kind of gum, anything. It was like impressive to see how that suddenly, and now I know that was her aura that added to its energy, so it became more brilliant through her brilliance, or her radiance, you know. Yeah. Okay. And also about a specific thing is your bed, for example. It's your energy pattern. It won't be maybe as comfortable in some other. And the time it takes for you to feel comfortable in a different bed or clothes, or another place to live in, or whatever it is about how your aura, how long time it takes for your aura to magnetize, like with the surrounding, or the the object that is there to become in your energy frequency. Yeah, I have a lot to work with. And even if you miss someone, then that can also feel very uncomfortable, because that energy, that aura, that energy field is not there, and then the energy in the bed or so on is not the same. Or the blanket, if a child have a blanket with their energy and so on. And they used to be crazy sad if you wash it, or a pet I mean, not a pet, but a you know what, they're a teddy bear kind of thing or so, because you wash away that energy field as well, somewhat anyways. Yeah, and to see the aura, as I will go into, I didn't know, but it's easy, it's very easy. Then to interpret it is a little bit harder. Yeah. So, but generally, if it's stronger, you're stronger, less easy to influence. If it's weaker, you are more easily influenced, and also you can also be susceptible. I don't know what to say. You can get, weaknesses overall, like physically and even mentally or emotionally, can influence you more. So you become more imbalanced. And yeah. And also people have a very strong aura. If you are in an environment where there is a lot of sounds, or, you know, they are not so, you know, this thing, what is called now, those who are, people wanted to call me that, that you are not oversensitive, but very sensitive. I don't know what it's called. I think it can be that, but it can also be actually that your aura is not so strong. And that's why you're so sensitive to certain environment, sounds and so on. Large places and with much people, and so. If it's strong, you can easily ignore it. I was super sensitive to these things before, when my aura was less solid, or it's not solid, but yeah, less strong. Yeah, extremely so. But it was not that I was a sensitive, I don't know what. It was my aura that was weak, by a lot of things that I had influenced it. And also it can weaken during a day, even if you at the beginning of the day feel like, oh, that doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, you just hate to hear certain sounds that you didn't care about before, because they cut through your energy field and make you unbalanced or irritated. So if you're aware of that, you can prepare or adjust as you need to, with the help of crystals or whatever you need to, as help strengthen your aura, so it won't be harmful for you, so you can keep it balanced and protected. And every time you react in a strong way emotionally, it is because there is a change in your aura. And I'm such an emotional one. Yeah, but it can influence the color, the shape, or something else. And also it's the same with mental or spiritual reactions of sorts. And also the activities you are involved in also is shown in your aura. And sometimes you can see images or stuff in the aura as you go deeper into it. But then I will also get to the whole how you interpret what you see in the aura. And colors is one thing, but also, and shifting of colors and intensities and so on. And it all have relation to what goes on in your life. And usually there is one or two combinations of colors that are more or less constant in your aura field. And it can also show a special pattern. Yeah. So, and sometimes it goes on for a period like a month, or it can be for a year, and then it changes. So, yeah, and it depends also how many colors there is and so on. If you have more or less of one color, what does it indicate and so on, and how does it change, and in what period of time and so on, does have some influence or some effect, yeah. But it's important, as I said, to begin with, to not learn like or be locked to a certain interpretation or explanation. You kind of need to communicate with energy to know energy. So, but you can learn basics, and then when you work with it, you will start to listen to the energy itself, sort of, and know its language. It will teach you it. So, and you can see different colors in one color, so you can see other colors in that color as well, and so on. Sometimes it shows different aspects of change or maturity or so on. So it can be quite difficult sometimes to interpret or do a reading, as they say. So you have to try and learn through your mistakes as well, but you will develop and with intuition start to know what it says. So that was basics, yeah. And one thing you can do, I saw this recently, one guy, I wonder what it was. It was some interview someone had. I wonder what it was now. I forgot. It was just the other day that someone were sitting like that to protect yourself from being emptied in your... You can close your systems. Let's say you cross your legs or so on, but also hold your thumbs and your index fingers, thumbs in towards each other's, and then the index fingers towards each other, like it becomes a downward triangle kind of thing. If you sit like that, it's like it's closed circuit, so that your energy stays with your energy. And you can also cross your legs and your feet, so that your energy don't leak into someone else's. And I didn't think about it then, but now I realized that it was actually... I realized when I looked at it, I saw that someone was sitting like that, and I recalled that I had done that before, but I didn't remember why. But now, when I read about that, these are, stuff that I had for a long time thought about talking about, but I haven't just gotten to it. So now I get to it. But anyway, yeah. Is there something else I want to say? The basics of psychometry also, maybe I should say that. That means that you read energy of an object. That is this, that you read the aura of the energy vibrations of it. And you can feel how an individual their aura have affected the object. And the longer a person have had an object, the more it have of the person's energy patterns that you can pick up. So then a sensitive person or someone have ability to do this can then hold this object and get impression of the person owning it and reading them, as I can do them. And it's not difficult either, actually. Yeah. But it sounds very mysterious if you haven't done it and know how to do it. So, but it's not. And if someone else's energy field is stronger than yours, it can easily make you more attuned to it. And if yours is stronger, you can more make it tuned to... You can more make theirs attuned to yours. So therefore also shamans usually work with those who have the same intent or alone with a client, because you don't want different forces pulling in other directions. It will be harder, like a magnet, so to speak, to pull the energy in the healing direction then. Yeah. And also in the group, you can easily get influenced by it's not just peer pressure or such, it's the energy of a group that influences people. So be very aware of that if you have a connection to a group. The energy of the group is stronger than you as an individual person, oftentimes anyways. And so, yeah, the more contact there is between the group and this individual, the more this individual's aura will harmonize itself with the group and reflect it, the things of the group. And as I said, intimate contact like sexual activity. So therefore be careful what groups you connect to, and think it over, because this goes on subconsciously also, whether or not we wish to. So we are, as some people talk about this whole, even in the society, the things we absorb as a group, a collective consciousness, we really need to think it over. Anyway, it's also like sexual activities or intimacy, then the energies get really, really mixed into each other. It's very powerful exchange of energies by those involved. And these can stay much longer, even if it's for brief contact. Yeah. And they can't be cleansed and balanced very easily. So, yeah, as I said, I think in previous video. Yeah. And the parents have a strong influence on their children, all their lives even, but most of the mother, actually, their energies is very influential on the kids. Yeah. And one of the things when you grieve when a person passes on or from this life is also because of the energy that is pulled away. And yeah, the shared energy that you had with that person, and the closer and more intimate you were, it will take longer time, obviously, to balance those energies. Yeah, even if in families where there is not a very close contact, this emptiness can be there when this energy from the one who passed is freed, and left those who are still there. It doesn't really leave, they don't really leave, but still, yeah. I think that was it for now. I hope you got something out of this. Let me know. No, I don't want to read the comments, but thanks for listening if you did, and I'll talk to you soon more and get into the whole, yeah, as I said. Bye for now.